My name is Anya. To everyone who will be watching, I was an exchange student in the United States in 2016, 2017. And this is Tammy. She was my host mom at the time. And she kindly agreed to answer some questions today, which always interest the parents who send their children to America. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So we will just go ahead and start. The first question, I think it's the most popular for all the parents who go through this program for the first time. It's why did you decide to take an exchange student, to welcome an exchange student in your home? What was the reason for this?
For me, I truly value culture. When I was in my 20s, probably like around 24-ish, I did a language immersion program in Costa Rica, and I had the opportunity to live with a wonderful family. It was kind of like a grandma type mom, and her daughter, and I spent a lot of time with the grandson, and it was just an amazing experience. And it really helped me realize that culture is so important. And I wanted to make sure I instilled that value in my daughter, who I believe she was 12 at the time, who also was culture. So that's what drove me to adopt internationally.
The second question is, it's actually about this process which all the families go through, especially when you host for the first time, you need to do a lot of checks and things like that. So our some of the parents were wondering, is it hard to go through the process of all the checks? Are there a lot of them to take in the exchange student?
I would say not really. I mean, if you're a upstanding citizen, you're not a criminal. It's really no different if you're a good parent or you just have good morals, good ethics. It's nothing to worry about.
We also discussed the first question, the reasoning behind taking in the student, but it's also an interesting question. Why did you decide to choose me? How does the process of choosing a student look like for a host family?
Well, at the time that I was looking for an exchange student, it was because my daughter was 12 and she was looking to have a sister. She wanted me to adopt a sister, and that was not in our cards. So I was looking for somebody that was compatible for her, and we read all the profiles, and she actually selected you, Anya, based on I think you had done dance, and I think you kind of had a little competitive nature about you. And just kind of seemed to have the intellectual drive, and just seemed to be very similar to her. And I believe at the time you had spoken 5 fluent languages, and that was a big plus just with us. We just kind of that you were super well-rounded.
So I will also add something. So basically, when the program starts, students fill in some applications with information about themselves, like hobbies, preferences, even I believe it's food preferences and things like that. And families are able to see all of them. So it's I believe there is some division in terms of states and posting organization. So there are a lot of details on which this depends on, but families do have access for a lot of profiles and are also able to choose a student. So it's a process of this. Oh, and I'm glad you did. And Ira chose me. Okay, so the next question is very general, but also interesting. Was this experience valuable, and what did it bring into your life?
It was so invaluable because we gained a daughter. I gained a sister. We gained an extended family because we had the opportunity to go to Ukraine and see how beautiful it was, meet your sister, your mom, your dad. We just have a connection. We just have a family.
Yeah,
connection.
It's for me too. So it's this experience was truly invaluable, and I don't think anything like that can happen. Like anything can compare to this experience of gaining a family. So yeah, I think it's the most accurate answer to this question. Was it hard to adapt to co-living with an international student?
For me, I'm going to say not at all. I'd say at first it was scary, the initial meet and greet. But after a startling new date, night one, it just kind of the flow. It just kind of just worked its way out. Worked its process. We just did the bonding. We just assimilated you into the family. It was all natural, but you just have to be flexible. And like any family, you got to be supportive. You have to make sure that the student has what they need. They have access to their family at home as well.
Yeah,
because they're away. You want to make sure that they can reach out to their family and we know that they have two, because it's a change for the student as well.
Yeah, I think at first it was scary for me, especially when I was arriving at the airport. Also, jet lag was super crazy. I still hasn't experienced anything like that jet lag. Yeah, so it was at first scary, especially since at first I spent some time with Nancy, and then I was excited but also scared to meet you because that place in Rhode Island, it was temporary, so I wasn't scared about it because I knew it was for a small amount of time. But then when I was going to meet you and Amir, I was oh, I'm scared because this would be for a year. So, but then, yeah, I think it was a couple of days and stuff, and I adjusted very quickly. And I think the key point or key recommendation to both students and families is to be open-minded about this experience and not build any expectations towards another culture or another way of life or rules, because I think every family is going to be different. Not everybody is going to be like you or not every student is going to be like me, but if they're open-minded and can adjust and like you said can support each other in this process and communicate about things, then it's going to be a great experience.
I think if I could add, I think the key thing is respect. We were fortunate that you had lots of respect for us as a family. Education you valued. We didn't have to put strict rules in place. You just really valued the experience. Everybody could be different, so just be, communication is key, because we don't know, things could have been differently, but you need to have open communication.
In all life situations, I guess. There is a question did we have any mutual trips together? How did we spend holidays together? I think it was my favorite question so far, which we have. But yeah, you can tell about our trips or holidays.
I want to say one of my favorite trips. I guess just the whole skiing experience. The first one was not it just wasn't the best conditions, but seeing you go from, oh my goodness, I can't do this, realizing there's a difference between cross country and downhill to pretty much you can become a black diamond skier was like, wow. And you put that next to Disney World. I think skiing, I'm going to go with the skiing. To me, that was a favorite. I think in my mind.
Yes, I will add, we actually went for a lot of trips together and not even one ski trip. And we went to Disney World and Universal Studios, and we also went to New York City and also to a bunch of other places and states. But I cannot agree more that skiing trip and in general, like the ski season and this experience of skiing as a family and skiing in general, it was my favorite part of like the trips experience as well. Especially I think when there was Christmas, and then after like Christmas we went for this trip, and actually I had a big pause in skiing experience, but last year I went skiing in Kiev, but still we had like these hills and I still got it, so
awesome.
Now I resemble your style of skiing more. Very careful skier now, and I don't just go ahead and fly down, but I'm not afraid of skiing anymore, and I still can do it, so it's wonderful. And yeah, it was amazing, and I hope like we get to do it sometime more in general. Skiing with you and Mira was super fun.
I will say my only regret as far as vacations was that I didn't get the opportunity to take you to Chicago, because I remember asking you if there was one place in the United States you can go, where would it be? And that was your wish. And the alternative was I couldn't do that. We did New York City. But if I could have, I would have wanted you to see it, because when you come all the way to another country, you really want them to see what they could.
Yeah, but then I was so like, in New York, some parts of it were so scary that I was like, well, if Chicago is considered even like more dangerous at parts, like maybe I'm glad like that we are here in New York and not in Chicago though. But I'll definitely visit the States again, and we can come to Chicago and try the pizza. We have like in Kiev there is like Chicago pizza now, and I tried it. I can't say I'm a fan though. It's like too much food in one dish. I think.
Deal. When you come, I will be there.
I have the last question here. What was the most memorable, or like what do you remember the most in our like mutual year together?
I want to say maybe your sweet 16. Turn 16. The little, I don't really want to say party, but the little celebration, I want to say. Because 16 is, I think it's a big age, but it just made me realize, wow, it's a sign of maturity, but you had the maturity before you had even gotten on that plane. I enjoyed planning your sweet 16.
Yeah, I remember it too, and I still have some photos, and I viewed them recently, and it was so fun. I have like cheeks like twice. My head is like twice as big as my head now. Yeah, it was very fun for me. I can't even highlight like or single out something from the entire year. I think it was all together. Like the thing about the year in America is the coolest thing about it is that like from my year there, every single experience I remember so vividly. Like I didn't forget any like small part of it, and after that experience, a lot of years like have passed, and I forget a lot of things which happened after, like over the years, like in Ukraine, because you consider it just like normal life, and you can take a lot of things here for granted. Like it just happens, and you can forget about it, and you cannot be in the moment. But when I was in the States, I understood that I have this limited amount of time, like only a year, to experience like so many things, and that I want to remember them for like the rest of my life. So I think I took this phrase of like living in the moment very, very seriously then, and I truly did it. I truly like lived every moment, and this is why I think I remember it all. And I can't even say that there is like one or several moments which were the most memorable.
I look at things in terms of a Mary's life, because I do lots of pictures, and that's the year that we have a scrapbook just for that year. And I too remember so much. It's like it's the silly pictures. It's not it's not the normal pictures. It's the funny thing about going through Target and racing with the carts, or walking in Boston. I take a picture of the two of you just walking, and I take it from behind, or on the elephants, the playground. It's the silly things that you guys did, dancing, or standing up and getting your steps with the Fitbits. It was a fabulous experience.
Yeah, and I also want to say that like I got to be a child a bit more. Like a lot of people think that if you decide to go through this experience, it's actually what a lot of parents think, that your child has to be this mature person who can handle this like tough year abroad without you. But for me, I think it was the opposite. Like I think I was like experiencing some of adult like things already. Like I was like academic oriented, right? And like I was always in this race of achieving more and more and things like that. So for me, I think this experience was the opposite. I got to do more childish or like silly stuff than I would have gotten in Ukraine, because like here, like you just like work for your future and things like that, and there I just like enjoyed this time of like having fun and doing cool things. But yeah, I was still competitive and academic oriented. But yeah, I think it was cool. Like, and when I turned 16 there, like it was like a cool not ending, but like like my childhood, like cool last year of my childhood before like going to the senior year of school and like entering the university and moving and all that stuff. So yeah, it was definitely a wonderful experience, and I'm very grateful for it. And thank you for answering all the questions today.
Oh, you're welcome. We were just so blessed to have you as our student.